Hi, we're here today for another Follow Friday. We're here today at Journey Financial with Dan Turnwald. Thank you for joining us today, Dan.
A pleasure to have you, ladies.
We're glad you could join us.
Thank you for asking.
Yes. So, let's get into what we're here to talk about. So, tell me a little bit about how you got started in this business.
Well, I got started in this business because I just like to analyze numbers, and actually I've got a background in engineering. So it was a natural flow through from engineering to, since I like working with people, I was approached about getting into this industry back in 2004. So I was like, well, I like working with people, I like working with numbers, I like coming up with solutions. So that's how I stumbled into this industry.
All right. So, what services do you offer here at Journey Financial?
Okay, great question. So, it has been an evolution. So, over the past 21 years, it started out just strictly doing insurance, but that has evolved because really of what I wanted to provide to my clients. I often would have clients outside of this geographic area that said that they would like to work with me. So I made the transition from my previous career. I was a captive agent and then transitioned. I wanted to provide comprehensive financial planning. So I started making that transition about 4 years ago, and also to be able to provide more products and more tools for my clients. So long story short, through industry associations, so through some friends that I got to know in the industry, about 12 years ago, there's a group of us, there's about 90 of us advisors across the country.
Oh, wow.
That have put together this organization. These people were smarter than I. So anyway, we have a financial planning department. So we have a team of financial planners that assist me in actually putting together the financial plan. We have a team of investment specialists that actually help to pick the investment portfolio. We have a team of insurance specialists that help to pick the best type of risk, what we would call risk protection products. But again, overall, it starts with that financial plan. I think that's really where our niche is to develop that comprehensive financial plan to really best meet the client's goals and objectives. That's really what it revolves around. So that's where it starts, to determine what those goals and objectives are and put together that comprehensive financial plan, whether it's for protection or for retirement. Because we look at all of those areas. We look at it from, again, asset protection of assets. So for example, if somebody has a nursing home situation, how do we best protect those assets? And then how do we integrate it even with their estate planning tools as well, from like a legal document standpoint.
Right.
Okay. So I like to think of it as we're kind of like that point guard on a basketball team or the quarterback on a football team, where we're trying to bring it all together and make sense of it. And through that financial plan, we're going to stay on top of it from year to year and hey, life changes, right? Things change. So we then continue to adjust it over time.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So that leads me into, when you think about financial investment, you think, well, I have to have money to be able to invest. But what would you tell the younger person who is just starting out in life and isn't even thinking that they can invest any money? What would your advice be to them?
Okay, so I'm going to share with you two stories that come to mind as you ask that question. Actually, these are like real world stories that I just happen to stumble across. One is, the clients that I work with, frankly, some don't have a lot of money. Others are at the other end of the spectrum. They have a lot of money. And what was interesting is the one client said, my husband really, he doesn't want to do this sort of thing. And we started to dig a little bit, and she further explained that, really it was because, she shared with me that it was because his grandfather died very young. So they were destitute.
Right.
Right? When the breadwinner dies young, left with a bunch of kids, Well, unfortunately, those generational habits carry over from generation to
Right.
generation. Now, all of a sudden, that next generation, they think it's not real important to plan either. So, to answer your question, that it's okay if you don't have money, because there's a lot of free services actually that I do. I like to hope and think
Right.
that I do the right thing. Maybe I'll be blessed later.
Right.
I
Well,
guess through other situations.
It
right?
doesn't cost to get the education.
Right,
So I think,
right. And people can go to the website and
Right.
at least get some basic information.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's a great way for you to get some information, is to visit his website, which we'll talk about at the very end.
Mhm.
Let's talk about women investors.
Okay.
I became a woman investor for the first time a little over a year and a half ago.
Mhm.
I didn't think it was important for me to invest, but it is.
Yes.
So let's talk about how women should approach investment.
Yeah.
Even if they're married, not married.
Yes. I would say the first thing that comes to mind is just be engaged. Be proactive. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That's what, people like myself, hopefully, or if you have somebody, maybe a good friend, because, make sure the friend has good information too.
Exactly.
But at the very least, hey, that's why we're in this industry. Really, that's why I got into this industry, is just try to do the right thing, help people, put together the right solution. So again, advice for women out there: just don't be afraid to ask. Be engaged. I think maybe sometimes, of course, I'm not in your shoes, even though we were just talking about shoes.
Right.
I have it much easier to pick the right shoes, but just ask questions and just be engaged. Don't be afraid. I know sometimes women, maybe they can be they don't like to deal with the numbers side of it so
Right.
much. So that's what somebody like myself can help with, or whoever that professional is.
So who is your favorite or investment client?
It really leads right into the people that have questions, the people that want to learn, that want to then follow through and improve their lives. Ultimately, those that place their trust in me. I mean, those are the people that I like to work with. And sometimes they don't have a lot, and sometimes they do have a lot. But it's those people that are willing to learn, want to improve. My greatest pleasure is when people place their trust in me.
And then that's such a wonderful feeling, is when someone trusts you to help them.
Yeah.
And
to come up with that solution.
exactly.
To find out just that right puzzle piece.
Yeah.
That brings it all together.
All together.
That's the greatest gratification.
So you have your website up here a little bit to kind of give us an idea of what this is. So this is kind of what you go through.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. So this is software that I pay for, that our firm pays for, and after we plug in all these little pieces of the puzzle, like we're talking about,
Yep.
it's gonna spit out data. Okay, what are you on track?
Right.
Okay, well, and this is just a sample case, so, fictitious info.
I joked that I was Sally.
Right. But again, we're making it revolve around goals, objectives, and we're looking at, by the way, Social Security. How do we then, especially if somebody's getting close to turning Social Security on, when's that best time?
Right.
Because guess what? When you're sitting down with Social Security office, they're not going to tell you.
Right.
When is the best time?
Exactly. That's not their goal.
It takes somebody. I just went through this with somebody else. What their only question is, because this particular client was about 62 years old, and they said, "Whoa, would you like to turn Social Security on right now?" I'm like, fortunately, I had all of his info.
There you go.
And I said, "Well, no,
don't do it yet.
Don't do it yet, because you've got other assets."
Right.
To retire on, so it would be better to give yourself an 8% raise per year by delaying that Social Security benefit. And by the way, if that person's married, that's a greater widow benefit. If they
Exactly.
die, well, then the widow gets a higher Social Security
Right,
benefit. So
right.
it's little things like this that really, really are important to bring it all together.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Like I said, you're the puzzle piece.
well, so we bring it all together. We look at, okay, is there a certain part of secure income that we can peel off, or
Yep.
but also I just wanted to highlight this too: tax planning. This is a great piece of software as we're waiting for it to load, where it's going to show. So, like in this example here,
Right.
this little yellow. Okay, basically, the long story short, the yellow piece here that shows. So in this case, people maybe they have traditional IRA and a Roth. Well, does it make sense to do Roth conversions on a year-by-year basis? And this actually
Right.
will tell us how to max out certain tax brackets and minimize their taxes. So like in this example, they've over their lifetime, taxes with strategies versus without,
reduction of strategy,
it's like what, a
reduction of taxes.
$50,000-$60,000 savings in taxes.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, how can they get in touch with you, Dan?
Well, they can call me. Okay, here's okay, here's my card. You can zoom in on my card, okay, so they can capture that from the video.
Yep,
They can
and
call me.
Visit your website.
Visit my website, yourjourneyfinancial.com.
Right.
It's all on the card. Stop by actually I wouldn't recommend them. They just stop by
You're
by
right.
the
Let's
office.
make an
'Cause
appointment
you
for
might
that,
make an
yeah.
appointment that way, in case someone with somebody else, they're not wasting their time
Perfect.
waiting. So there you have it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.